Welcome everybody to the Third Touch Soccer Podcast. My name is Sam Leamy. I'm here with the usual suspects, Connor Walsh and Michael McLaughlin. What's going on, lads?
What's up? What's up? Snow day here in Albany. 24 inches expected. Locked in.
How you doing, Mike?
What's up, guys? What's up? What's up, Sam? How are you? Heard you had a fun weekend.
Yeah, I had a good weekend. We'll leave it at that. But we got a special guest from across the pond. My good friend Paul Wheatley. How you doing, Paul?
I'm very well. I'm very honoured. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So this is soccer, not footy.
Yeah, apparently I'll have to sort of see if I can catch up. Yeah.
I mean, you're still watching, right? You're still heavily involved in footy. You watch it every weekend. You know, do you still play?
I played this morning.
Really?
I played this morning. 6-a-side, 7-a-side it was this morning actually. On the do you guys call it? Do you call it turf?
Call it turf.
Yeah,
turf. That's AstroTurf though, yeah.
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 Well, did you
AstroTurf?
Did you see we are setting up Premier Sixes USA over here? Did you see that?
I did. I can't enter a team. It's a bit faster to travel. You're not going to cover the costs either. It's I'll have to stick it out in Bristol. But thanks for the offer.
All right. Well, welcome to the show. We're honoured to have you here. You know, we want to.
Thank you very much.
We want to pick your brain. We want to talk about a lot of English Premier League stuff that's going on right now. Big weekend. I know you're a lifelong Everton fan.
Indeed.
Talk us a little bit about Everton. Why you support Everton?
Well, I was born in Liverpool and ended up on the blue half. Alas. Not alas, really. We're the cool lot. It's the Liverpool fans are the arseholes, you see. You know, that you've got that. They're the idiots of that sort of generational thing where, you know, everybody who was born in the 80s supports Liverpool, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it gets passed down for generations. So a lot of them are from London, you know. Not unlike the Man United fans these days, actually.
I mean, yeah, we're from Cornwall. If you know, a lot of people out there don't know where we're actually from. We grew up in Cornwall, which what's our closest Premier League team? Probably Southampton now, right? Or
probably.
Oh, wait, they're not Premier League.
In fact, you're absolutely right because, you know, beyond that, you're into Birmingham, aren't you? Probably.
Yeah, I mean, we live right in the sticks, and Plymouth Argyle is our closest professional team, which the Pilgrims.
Yeah.
But.
I think we got to just explain to some of our listeners that there's a city called Liverpool, right?
Okay, yeah.
and in that city, there's two professional teams, right? Liverpool and Everton. And but wait, so why? I never understand this. I never understood why someone supports. How do you choose your team in the same city?
Well,
you know.
Well, you kind of fall either side. It's probably, you know, I think it's not unlike Manchester, really. You know, you've kind of got different areas of a large city, and you just kind of fall either side of the sort of I don't know, the stick in the ground. To be honest,
is it kind of like geographic, like in Chicago? I guess what South Side is for the Cubs.
Yeah, it can be.
North sides for
Can be a little, not quite as clear as that, because of course, like the two grounds are sort of a short walking distance from each other. But two big clubs in the city, you just kind of, I don't know. There's no real reason for it. I fall that way because my dad supported Everton, and you know, yeah.
Paul, I have a Liverpool question for you.
Oh yeah. Go on.
Are the rumors true that people just rip off people's tires off their cars in Liverpool, or?
Well, yeah, they can be true. They have been true. It's a terrible thing to say about an entire city worth of people, Connor. I have to say, terrible thing. Not something I've ever done myself. I'll tell you what. Where Anfield is grim.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I've been to a game at Goodison. I've never been to Anfield, but they're very close. It's Stanley Park, and what's the distance that separates the two grounds? You can
5-minute walk.
Yeah, 5-minute walk.
5-10 minute walk. Yeah, absolutely. Right.
Oh, wow.
Do you feel that the Merseyside derby is the biggest derby in English football?
I don't think so. I'd have to be honest these days and say. I don't know. Everton really haven't been top of their game for many, many years now, and obviously Liverpool have sort of slumped somewhat over the past sort of 10, 15 years. So I mean, you look at the Manchester derby now. I mean, that's the best. That's a good game of football, isn't it? But I suppose traditionally, historically, I'd probably say it was. Yeah, the Merseyside derby.
I mean,
there's a bit of history attached.
I would say like the Arsenal-Tottenham games right now are like is the biggest derby in the Premier League. They always seem pretty intense, and they're like two of the clubs that are closest. Man United have fought off the, ground a little bit in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think the only thing that cheapens the London derbies a bit is just there's so many teams in London, isn't there? You know.
Yeah, it seems like every other weekend there's a London derby of some sort, and it's
exactly.
Kind of
so
like
it's kind of like,
down.
derby weekend, like it was last week.
Is there like hate? Do you not like Liverpool? Like Sam hates Liverpool for some reason because United, Liverpool, whatever. But is there do you have anger towards Liverpool? You're like you get it. You're like whatever.
Yeah, I am a bit. Yeah. I couldn't care less, mate. Really. The Liverpool Manchester United thing is traditionally that they're fighting for cups, for championships and things like that. Everton fans are kind of like, wow, it's not really great.
So if you went to Anfield and watched the beginning of one of those big games, you would be like, oh, this is pretty cool when they're all singing. You'd be like, oh, this is I'm kind of into this.
No, I think they're arseholes. No, all that shit, all that never walk alone bollocks.
Yeah, I love it.
It's so self-important, isn't it? They think the world fucking stops and starts at Anfield. Oh, we sing "You Never Walk Alone" though. It's so special. Well, just for you lot. Everyone else thinks it's a bit sad, really.
Well, that's how you really got into soccer, Mike, right? You just heard that song and it gave you goose pimples.
That's right. That's it. I watched a YouTube clip in 2006. I was like, I like this. And I never heard the song before, the real song. And I like it.
Because like at American sports, well, they don't have chants. They don't have, in tandem, they don't have Mexican waves. They don't. It's kind of just like they get drunk and shout at baseball games and NFL games. There's no kind of cohesion between the supporters in American sports, I feel.
There are some like the Yankee Stadium, the bleacher creatures will chant every single player's name before they acknowledge him in the top of the first inning.
Are they called the bleacher creatures?
Yeah, that's what they call.
It's whack.
I suppose to give them some credit, I suppose in the sort of concept of in the context of going to watch a live sports match, I suppose going to Anfield and hearing them sing the songs, yes. I suppose it is pretty special. I'll tip my hat to some degree, but
but the thing is about Liverpool games at Anfield is they sing the song in the first minute, sing the song at the 90th minute, and then it's pretty much silent in between. Like the atmosphere at Anfield seems to be a myth to me. Like the chanting, the song is great, but in between, I don't know. It seems like it goes kind of quiet at Anfield.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of I think that's the same to me. I mean, that looks like it's a sort of growing problem in a lot of Premier League matches now. Anyway, it's this huge sort of like corporate sort of behemoth that keeps on rolling forward, and it's sort of engulfing a lot of the old fans. I mean, you look at like Arsenal. So you're an Arsenal fan, Connor, aren't you?
Oh yeah, unfortunately.
So you look at Arsenal. I mean, Arsenal really get to me. Wenger gets to me. I really do despise what goes on at that club a lot of the time.
We're going to talk about that later anyway, but carry on.
Okay, well anyway, just to make the point, I mean, you've got like I mean, to be honest, if you look at the old Highbury ground and you look at the new sort of enormous sort
of totally different
corporate sponsored Emirates, you kind of think, I don't know, 20-30% of the people that got tickets to that place probably never went again, because it's £80 or £90 to watch. A lot of it's dished out to sort of corporate interests. So I think it's a massive problem everywhere, to be honest. It's like you get football tourists now,
Yeah.
I mean, you look at games at Highbury, which the atmosphere is so much different, and even Highbury was called the Highbury Libraries, so they had issues with, I guess atmosphere back then, but now the Emirates is by far the worst atmosphere of any home ground in the Premier League. It's terrible. I know Arsenal have the most expensive ticket prices across all of Europe as well.
Yeah.
So it's a real shame that you lose the real fans, because from what I've read and heard, Arsenal's away support is as good as it gets, but the home support is terrible because it's all tourists and corporate people.
Well, that's what exactly Indeed. When they built the new Yankee Stadium here, 4 or 5 years ago. And it's just dead. There's just no atmosphere. And I'm not even a Yankees fan, but you used to go to the old Yankee Stadium, and there would be an atmosphere. And so and it's all corporate. All the seats are like $500.
Do you just? I mean, once teams move to a different stadium, you feel like they lose that attachment to their club a little bit because that stadium is so old, and there's just a huge attachment to part of the team.
Yeah. Oh, it's a part of the. Well, it's not just part of the team. It's a part of the. It's the location issue as well. It's part of the. It's ingrained in the local people in the local area. It's if you take something. I mean, it's a quandary, isn't it? To make sure that you move on with the times and make sure you fill the place, but leaving behind these fabulous old football stadiums that people grew up in, and like generations of people have been to. But of course, like I said, using Arsenal as an example again. You can't. It's pretty disingenuous to think that you can move to this enormous new stadium, charge £80 or £90 per ticket, and expect those same old people that lived in the terraced houses of the working class communities to go. You're not even trying, are you?
I mean, that's just with the times. I mean, I want to talk about Everton a little bit. Big Everton fan. Every season, when you open the Match magazine at the start of the year. You go through the comics, you go through the transfers. What do you really expect from your team year in, year out now?
Completely and utterly open-minded, mate, from season to season. That's where you've got to be. To be honest, I mean, the hardest thing in the Premier League now is just existing. There's a lot of teams just existing. Everton's are one of those. We turn up every single year, and this is the most frustrating part of it. You could talk about a West Brom, you could probably talk about a West Ham. You just make up the numbers, What's your highlight? You do, though. You do. Yeah. What's your highlight of the year? A cup run. Well, we were out of both of those in the first round this year. And after that, so it's mid-January, and you've got nothing to play for, because you just make up the numbers. You just make up the numbers. So you look at Everton, and okay, I think, to be honest, in all honesty, we went out and got Ronald Koeman, and I think we got the best manager we could possibly get.
I mean, Barcelona are talking right now about Ronald Koeman and what he's done in the last few years. But in terms of last season, Leicester winning the Premier League, isn't there an expectation for the Evertons, the West Broms, the Stokes that something could special happen this year? No.
Absolutely not. Last year was once in 10 billion. Once in a God knows how many. That was just ludicrous. No one will ever understand that. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with that. But do you feel that Everton, I remember, under Martinez at times, I think it was his second to last season, it looked like they could maybe make a push for top four. They were playing some of the best football in the league, I thought. And then obviously the defense wasn't there. Under Koeman, they've been extremely inconsistent. You look at yesterday's result, drawing 0-0 against Middlesbrough. Do you go into a season hoping Everton can make top four? Is that a realistic expectation? I mean, you have, in my opinion, the top three best striker in the league. I mean, Lukaku is phenomenal, in my opinion. What do you think the issue is with Everton having quality players but not being able to make that final push to top four, or are other players just not quality enough?
I think the hardest thing about it is you end up a club like Everton, sort of middling club. You end up with you have to take the opportunities, because what you can't do, and what you can't afford to do, and will never be able to afford to do, is have this sort of mythical overhaul of the squad. We can't. When Baines was, it's probably on the sort of last few years of Moyes, maybe the first year of Martinez. Okay, you have to take those chances because they don't come around again. So when Baines is under 30, when Jags is under 30, when Gareth Barry is sort of 32, 33, still got it. A couple of years later, those guys aren't playing even halfway as close to what they were then, and you've missed your opportunity. And what we can't do is, a club like Everton can't say, oh, well, that's okay. We'll wait till the transfer window comes in the summer and we'll buy 5 players. We can't do it, Mm-hmm. So when that time passes it's almost gone, and you're left with a load of rubble again, and then it's, back to the start.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, Paul, is you have nothing to look forward to other than a possible Landon Donovan loan spell. Am I right? Come on.
Whoa, thank you very much. Hey, we loved Landon down at Everton. He was great. He was really good. He was a big favourite.
That's what I was talking about. I was bringing it up to people. Like, you should saw him those 10 games. It was the best 10 games an American has ever played.
No, the conversation we have, Mike, is like, I said Landon Donovan couldn't give two shits about Everton. You said he holds Everton in his heart. He really doesn't.
He does. He does. I've seen him post pictures on social media with his kid in Everton kits.
He got a tattoo on his arse, didn't he? When he just outside the ground. Yeah, there's photos of it.
Well, it's like a Benner's tattoo. But anyway,
it's a beauty.
So how good is Lukaku, Paul? How special is this guy right now?
Well, this is the thing. So everyone's sort of like very excited about Lukaku, and I'm a bit sceptical. I'm a bit sceptical. Now, obviously, I'll never argue with goals. You can't argue with goals, can you? So, in actual fact, he's going to be sort of 23, 24, and he's going to have sort of like back 20 goal seasons.
Well, he's getting better. His stats are getting better every season. Every season.
I completely agree. I mean, I suppose it's the old romantic in me that wants to see, like, when you see like real outrageous quality, something that is like sort of, I don't know, like an Aguero. You look at Aguero. You look at Aguero's movement. You look at how he controls the ball, how he takes the ball. You think, Christ alive, you could do that in any team in the world. Lukaku isn't. He's a bit. I don't know. He's not quite. I don't know. There's nothing quite impressive about him. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's nothing. I don't know. Sort of galactic about him. But like I said, you can't argue with 20 goals.
Yeah. Do you think that some of that has to do with the quality of the sides he's been in? Because the thing that's impressed me the most about Lukaku is the number of goals he scored for not the best teams. Like West Brom was not the greatest team, but he was putting up big numbers. Everton, good team, but I think we can both agree they're not, a top level squad. Do you think that some of that ability is lost because he isn't playing for the best teams, or we're seeing him do what he can do best?
It's difficult, isn't it? Because you look at a player like Lukaku, and at his age, God knows what he could achieve. But I think it's different. It's a different at Everton, and we've had good players before, but to move on up, you never know quite how it's going to work out. To play with a proper world-class team, I don't know. Is he quick enough? Is he sharp enough? Does he react quick enough? And these guys, could be worlds ahead of him. You put anybody in a sort of like Zlatan. Put Zlatan in Manchester United side, surrounded by Matters, Mkhitaryan's, Pogba's. He looks like they're the teams he's always played in. It's as natural as anything, isn't it? They read him, he reads them. Lukaku's a bit of a bulldozer at Everton.
Mm-hmm.
He runs at defenders a lot. He's not smart. He's not a smart player. He's aggressive. He's aggressive.
I think
he's not quite got this.
I think he's scary good. I really think he's scary good sometimes. When I see him play, when he scored those 4 goals the other week, I was like, okay, he's my number 1 pick. If I was to pick a Premier League 11 right now, I'm picking Lukaku first. He is my automatic starter. He looks scary good sometimes, and we got to remember he's still young. He's still young,
you're right.
And he really hasn't reached his peak, I don't think. And he's growing. Like, his stats are showing that he's scoring more goals. He's having a more influence on the game. And what's he at right now? 16 goals for the season?
He's top goal scorer in the league, I think. After
Sanchez,
last week.
well, Sanchez tied him yesterday.
Is he back?
Yeah, he is. He's joint top. He's joint top. What do you think? Do you think? I guess 2 questions. Do you think Lukaku will leave in the summer? Because I heard him say recently that he would like to stay. And if he does leave, what do you think his transfer value is?
He's going to. He will leave. He will leave. If the right, like I said, that's what I mean. It's got to be the right size of the club. The next size club for Lukaku is going to define his career because it's going to be a huge club. It's going to be a top 4 club, a Champions League club. So if someone like that comes in for him, let's be honest, you're probably talking 60, 65 million. You just are. That's the game, isn't it, these days?
So as an Everton fan, you've just conceded Lukaku to a top 4
Always. That's being an Everton fan. That's what it's all about, mate. That's how it goes. That's what we do. We don't.
So your criticism of him a little bit, could that be just you sort of getting ready for his departure? You don't want to get too attached.
I'm just sort of, if anybody's listening to this podcast, prospective Lukaku buyers, I'm just trying to play him down a bit.
Yeah, there's a couple of investors.
If you're listening, Conte.
There's a couple of investors in Iowa.
Terrible.
Like when your girlfriend gets into that grad school in Colorado, you just like she ain't all that great, whatever. Just getting yourself ready for her.
So I don't want to spend an hour talking about Evan, but there's one guy I really want to talk about because it was probably about 6-7 years ago. Me and Paul had this conversation, and Paul just came out one day. He was like, "Okay, remember this name, Ross Barkley." And I was like, okay. I looked him up a little. bit. That was Connor, by the way. So I looked him up, and I watched him play, and he was playing the youth team and in and out of the first team a little bit. And his presence was like, okay, Paul, you said he was the next Wayne Rooney. Fast forward 6 years.
I thought he'd be better.
Fast forward 6 years. What have we learned?
He's been. I think it's. I tell you what. To be honest,
your face says it all. By the way,
his development has been like glacial. It's been pitifully slow. Because I tell you what, on the odd game, you watched him like last week against Bournemouth, and he was fabulous. He's the best player on the pitch. He's got everything, absolutely everything. He's strong as a bull. He's got quick feet. He can, he's both-footed, which is always a fabulous thing to watch because you never know what's going to happen. He's a wonderful footballer, but I just cannot believe how slow his development's been. Is it Everton's fault? Could be. Is it Martinez's fault? Is it Koeman's fault? Is it the board's fault? I don't know. Is it his fault? Could be. Always is to some degree. Mm-hmm. But it's been really, really, really pathetic. It's because he's probably as good now as he was then. Mm-hmm. Which is a bit troubling, I
mean, he had a good game against Bournemouth, but he was up against Jack Wilshere, Connor's number one.
How old is he now?
So Barkley is sort of 23, 24. So he's not a young man anymore. So you've got to start turning up. And an awful thing. Everton fans have been on his back somewhat because they've really asked for a bit more from him. Because, like I said, he's the best footballer at the club, comfortably. On his day, like I said, you never get near him. You just won't get near him. He's just awesome. But, you can't be awesome 15% of the season. Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go on to some games this weekend. Did you watch the Tottenham-Liverpool game yesterday? I thought Liverpool were fucking excellent yesterday. Absolutely. I mean, I really did. They were non-stop throughout the whole 90 minutes. I sat there and watched the whole game. I know Tottenham were only had one of their back four. Rose was out. I think Walker's pretty bang average, but I thought Liverpool were excellent yesterday, and I think they answered a lot of critics yesterday. Did you watch the game, Connor?
Yeah, I did. I was at a family party, but we had the match on. The one thing that stood out to me was on the first goal, Hugo Lloris's error. That's now his third error in 2 high-profile matches. The game against Man City, he was pretty terrible, and now this mistake. In my opinion, Lloris is one of the best keepers in the league, but it's been kind of shocking that he has been, to a certain degree, the downfall of Spurs in 2 huge matches this season. And with the form Liverpool's been in, I think that Tottenham may have bottled that game a little bit. But we've talked about it time and time again on this podcast, especially during Liverpool's poor run of fixtures when Sadio Mane was at the African Cup of Nations. He is so important to that team, and scoring 2 goals back-to-back early in the first half was just huge for Liverpool, and they were able to wrap up that win.
Yeah, do you see the game, Paul? Because I bash Liverpool a lot, and Coutinho is, since he's come back from the injury, has been very inconsistent. So I mean, what do people think of Jurgen Klopp over there? Because we get kind of mixed reports, and NBC are very biased sometimes with Jurgen Klopp because he's such a likable character, this guy. But 18 months ago, he arrived at Liverpool and said there was a problem with the defence, and 18 months on, there's still a problem with the defence.
No, I accept that. I completely agree. this isn't a sub. This is, I mean, to be honest, Klopp. People just love him. People just fall over themselves.
Why?
He's absolutely wonderful. Because you see him in press conferences. There's this kind of honesty to him, And I think what really endears him to people is that you see him on the touchline, don't you? And he's this modern football coach where he's got his tracksuit and he's playing the game. He's the 12th man. You know what I mean? He's high-fiving. He's exasperated, throwing stuff. Every player gets a hug. And a kiss on the bloody cheek afterwards, and people love that.
Paul, Patrick Vieira does it for NYCFC. No one gives a fuck about it.
But that's it. That's that's the current. And so Liverpool fans are desperately happy. They are. They're in cloud nine. I don't know what it'd take to get the crowd to turn him at the moment, because I just don't see it at all. It's just crazy. But to be honest, I accept your point. I mean, he had a crap defence. He's still got a crap defence, and he knew he had a crap defence. Uh-huh. So he's going to have to swallow that, isn't he? But again, on the game, that's probably the best first half of a football team's ever played since I've been watching live football. To be honest, that's incredible.
Yeah, it's kind of
really. You think really?
I honestly think that they were just outrageous.
It was scary good.
It could have been 10-0. It was incredible. Like Loris is 2-0 down. He's man of the match. Isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, Mane should have had a hat-trick. That was a great save by Lloris. Yeah. And Tottenham had 50% possession in the second half with 0 shots on goal. Nothing. Wasn't even close. I don't know how Liverpool kept it up for the whole 90 minutes. You were always going, okay, Liverpool are going to wear down. The intensity is so high right now. But they never really... They didn't give Tottenham, a second to breathe at all. I thought they were excellent, but I don't know if it's the best first half of any football team that I've ever seen, but it was certainly very impressive.
Best first half of football me and Mike have ever seen was USA Confederations Cup final against Brazil, 2-0.
Oh yeah, first half.
Wrap it up.
Nice.
Wrap it up.
Nice.
Nah, but dude, it's crazy that a club the size of Liverpool has such a horrendous defense. I mean, you have one defender in the defense in Nathaniel Klein. You have Milner playing left back. Klavan and Lovren are atrocious. Like, where did Klavan come from? He's 31 years old from Estonia. Like, you're a top club and you're signing Eastern Europeans like to try to win the Premier League. Like, no disrespect to Eastern Europe, but like I don't think there's many Estonians that deserve to be playing for a club the size of Liverpool or any top 4 ambitious club.
Yeah, especially not when they're not very good at football.
Yeah.
All right. I think Klopp he looks like the man. I just love watching him.
Yeah.
If I was a fan, I just that guy knows where we're going. I'm gonna follow him. I trust him. He would have to screw up so much for Liverpool supporters to pull back.
I mean,
definitely.
I was surprised. I mean, this summer after he was only at the club for 12 months, and they offered him a 6-year contract after finishing 8th place in the Premier League. 6 years. What? How did he deserve that right? I don't understand that.
He's tall too. He's tall. That matters.
Yeah. I mean, 6 years. You're absolutely right. I mean, there's no precedent for 6 years. Why would you ever think you're just going to have to pay him off? You have to be an absolute lunatic to think that Klopp is going to be at your club in 7 years' time. Yeah. Look. Who's done that ever? Those days are gone.
That leads us on to Arsene Wenger right now. I guess this is a good transition. So the guy's been here for 20 years, right? 20 years. Way before Connor was born. And
what?
All right, you were 3 years old.
I'm a grown man. Yeah, I was 3.
So what's going to happen? What's the news over there right now with the extended contract? Is he going to sign? Should he stay on? I mean, it's the same old story with Arsenal. And we could just talk about this, on and on and on. And they're a business model now, and they've finished in the top 4. They haven't won the league in over 10 years. Where does Wenger go from here? Should he step down? Are they going to offer him another contract? What's in the news over there, Paul?
Well, it's pretty toxic, actually. And I think it looks to be This issue has divided fans. I mean, there's the reports of them fighting each other in the stands after being beaten by Chelsea. I think, to be honest, you're in one of two camps, aren't you? You're a bit sort of misty-eyed, and you think, oh, Wenger, oh, you've done so much for us, you know, and you don't really want to. You want them to stay because you think you're scared of the future almost. You know, you don't really want to open the door to anything different, which I think is complete lunacy, really. Or you're in the other camp where you think this is desperate now. You know, this guy's writing his own checks. He's patting himself on the back. He's the master of his own destiny. You know, and that doesn't seem to answer to anybody at the club. You know, I think the facts are that he's been 14 points on average behind the leaders for the last 10 years.
Wow.
And he doesn't look accountable whatsoever. Non-accountable. And in the modern game, you just kind of think, what's he done to deserve that? Because in my opinion, Arsenal were winning things before Arsene Wenger. They're a big club, and they win things afterwards. What's the problem? I don't get it. You know. So right now, everybody wants to speculate. Speculation is daily. You know, Arsene Wenger. I don't know. At some point, will tire of it, I suppose. But he's getting a lot of abuse.
I saw this week that to your point about the modern game started in 2005 when Abramovich and Mourinho came to Chelsea, and the ironic part is the last time Arsenal won the league was 2004, and Wenger has refused to adjust to the modern game. The club has refused to adjust. I've done the rants before on this podcast. I'm not going to do it again, but Ian Wright this week said that Arsene Wenger said he's tired and doesn't know if he can go on. And then Wenger replies and says, no, I'm good. I got some more energy left in me. It's like, what is going on? Because I was talking about Robert Pires a couple episodes ago. Robert Pires a couple episodes ago talking about how he trains at the club every day. And then he's saying, yeah, I talked to Alexis. He doesn't know what he's resigning. And now Ian Wright is saying this and Wenger's saying the other thing. Like, these former players need to keep their mouths shut. Like, I don't understand, like, you won a trophy under Arsene Wenger, so all of a sudden, like, you're like the top source with the media. And who knows what's going to happen. But honestly, like, my patience as a fan is wearing extremely thin. And, I mean, I don't know, Paul, if you're familiar with Arsenal Fan TV.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Most people are.
Yeah.
But it is
fabulous.
It's insane. It's great entertainment. But to hear that fans are fighting each other, like, the club is so divided and the environment is so toxic and it's all over one man. And you can't blame fans for being upset and frustrated when it's been the same BS season after season. And he doesn't change. He doesn't adjust his tactics. They could be playing Chelsea one day and Hull the next day, and he's going to throw the same lineup out with the same tactics. He doesn't adjust at all, and I think he's completely out of depth at this point.
They should. He needs to leave. Here, I'm telling you what's got to happen. He's got to leave. But I listened to an interview of his recently. He's just gifted. The dude, he was just talking about life and how to pursue your passions and tenacity and all. I was like so motivated to go. He should just become a motivational speaker and just go around and like consult like young footballers on how to like properly be a professional and then take off. Because don't all the old professionals just love him like that played for him?
Well, everyone loves him. Current players respect him, but it's just he is out of depth, and it's just time for change. No other manager has been at a club for this long except for Sir Alex, and that was an anomaly in itself that a manager was able to be successful.
I don't know if he's out of depth. I just feel he got so comfortable. He's really comfortable right now, and if he leaves the game, what's he gonna do? But as an Arsenal fan, I see why it's so frustrating for you guys because it's the same old shit every year.
I just think that I think what my biggest issue is here. I think he's just dishonest. I think he's a liar. I think he goes out every single season and just lies to people. Now, every single season he comes out in front of the press, comes out in front of the fans who are paying serious money to go and watch Arsenal, and he tells people, and he's said the same thing 10, 12 years. I think this team I've got are ready. You know, I think they're ready. Now. If you can do that 10 times, now, at which point does people go, you're talking bollocks, mate? Is it the 4th time, the 5th time, the 6th time, the 7th season the 8th season. At which point someone goes, Arsene, I'm not sure you know what you're talking about, pal. Really, you know, it's just utter garbage. And you know, and then stuff like coming out at the end of the games and saying his team wasn't mentally ready and getting away with it. Come on,
that's his fault. What? He's the manager.
He blamed the loss against Watford on the rain. Like, are you kidding me? It rains every day. It rains every freaking day in England. I'm not even there, and I know it rains every day. And he's gonna blame it on the rain?
Yeah.
Like, especially Arsenal's style of play, a wet pitch suits them. So he's gonna talk about the rain. Yeah. Are you absolute? The fans are sold dreams by him in the club each year, and it's a broken record, and it is shocking how repetitive each season is.
So what's gonna happen? He's gonna sign another 2-year contract, right? At the end of
absolutely. Oh, because they're gonna finish 4th, and they're gonna get the Champions League television money, and the club can keep stuff in their pockets, and then it shows a little bit of ambition by finishing top 4 and top 4, and that's it. Like, I think. Paul, I agree with what you're saying about him lying, but I think the board has a role to play this as well. And I think Arsene Wenger just gives the board what they want time and time again. And, like, he came out this week and after they lost to Chelsea, I could have signed N'Golo Kante this summer.
Brilliant.
Are you kidding me? Like,
he's the best player in the league. You know, he would make the difference in any of the top 4 sides. He would make the difference. I expect.
And he's got the audacity to come out and say, and it's been the same thing with Hazard and Griezmann in the past when he could have signed them, and he's been like, yeah, I could have signed them.
Connor's getting really riled up right now. Look at him.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. I'm completely with Connor all the way. What kind of, you can't just keep saying, oh yeah, could have had that deadbeat Antoine Griezmann, but I didn't want him really. You know, I signed Danny Welbeck instead. Yeah. I know what I'm doing. You know, I know exactly what I'm doing. I could have had Kante if I'm honest. You know, the best midfielder in the league. But I know what I'm doing because I'm Arsene Wenger and I signed Xhaka. Yeah.
Well, you know who they should sign. I know Mike's got a few names on the list. Did you do your weekly Pulisic watch this week?
Oh, I did do Pulisic watch. I have Paul, do you know about Christian Pulisic, the best young American?
I've heard of it. I've heard it on the podcast. I should really have a look at him. Actually.
So, what do they talk about American players? Well, they of course they don't. Well,
Pulisic is known. Pulisic is known. Liverpool, Klopp's going to try to sign Pulisic this summer. So that's
So yeah, let's do the weekly Pulisic watch.
Okay, there was two games. They played Darmstadt yesterday. I don't know if you know about that team, but and then, but this is what I realized. I want to ask your opinion. So there's 3 big players at Borussia Dortmund that are all teenagers. We got Dembele, Emery Moore, and Christian Pulisic.
Well, hold the phone for a second.
And Weigl.
Hold the phone for a second.
But Weigel's he's above them all.
He is.
Hold up for a second, because when I lived in England, the amount of Bundesliga minutes I saw on TV was 0.
Okay.
What's the coverage like over there right now with European football? Obviously, La Liga's on Sky Sports. You have BT Sport right now, which
I've got BT Sport, and BT Sport seems to have sucked up all virtually everything else, really. Right. So you got the Dutch League, which is Eredivisie, is it?
The Dutch
League. League One. Yeah, that League One is on. It's the French league. That's on BT Sport. They've got all the Italian football and all the Bundesliga. Honestly, it's pretty incredible if you just want to watch football 24 hours a day.
Right.
All right, so this is what happened in the game. So Pulisic started. Dembele didn't start. He's the best at all 3 of them, right? It's Dembele, then Pulisic in the young kids that play a lot, right?
Aubameyang.
And then Emery Moore is kind of third on the depth chart. But Emery Moore played as the attacking midfielder, and I swear to God, Pulisic was open so many times, and this kid never passed him the ball. I mean, it got weird. It got weird, and I want to know. I know it's weird, but do you think that they're teenagers? Do you think that this kid, Emery Moore, is like, I'm not passing the ball to this dude anymore. He's just way ahead of me on the depth chart. I'm taking it over. And Emery Moore ended up setting up one of the goals. They ended up losing in the long run. But I think Pulisic had the least amount of touches for anybody that played 90 minutes.
So it was kind of like the Swansea players walking past Bob Bradley when he was trying to talk to him.
No, I think this one's different. I think you can relate to this as players that are competing for one spot and then they're playing in the same game. Do you think players deep down, like especially the youth, that they would actually maybe not pass the ball to make somebody look that they're competing with, make somebody look good? Is that a possibility, or am I losing it?
At a non-professional level, maybe, but at a professional level, I disagree with that, because you're molded into a team player, and to enhance your own achievements, you need to work with your teammates. You just have to. Yeah, it says, I've played with Alex Menshikov, a selfish Russian guy, in a CDSL Sunday league. He's not fucking passing me the ball. He doesn't care. He's selfish. But no, no, I don't.
You got to watch this game. Connor, did you watch the game yesterday?
Nah. I saw that Terrence Boyd score for Darmstadt, though, another American back from ACL injury.
I mean, I think there's selfish players out there, but I don't think they're intentionally not passing to Pulisic because he's
I don't know, man. I listen. I know this. I can tell by Paul and Connor's disagreement.
No, I think you might be onto something. You know, two young players, each want to develop.
There's
be the
three,
main man,
really. Yeah.
Quicker than the next one.
Yeah.
You know, well, you only have to look at Daniel Sturridge. It definitely exists in pro football. Daniel Sturridge is a joke, isn't he?
He's garbage.
You know?
He's garbage.
Here's the thing: there's three of them, and Dembele is by far ahead, number one on the depth chart. He's going to be at a big club, Barcelona or something like that, within the next 2 years. And so to that next spot, it's between these two, and they're playing the same game. And I'm telling you, more didn't pass. I don't know.
I think there's something in that. There's something in that.
If there's someone that saw that game, email us, Twitter us, and tell me I'm crazy. Tell me
Okay, weekly Pulisic watch. Fuck everyone else at Dortmund.
Oh, he did in the German FA Cup. I don't know what they call that, like the
DFB Pokal.
Yeah, that one. Pulisic did set up Marco Reus with a nice goal in the box to win in midweek as well. So he had a nice assist. So that's the Pulisic watch for this week.
Thanks for that, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, talking about Americans in Europe, Bob Bradley had a stint with Swansea, Paul, this year.
Mm.
And I know we spoke a little bit about it when we were in Spain a few months ago. And it was like, okay, it was huge over here. It was like this American coach going to the Premier League. It's the golden ticket. Obviously, it didn't work out well for him, and Swansea are flying right now. What was the take? What was the overall take on just an American guy coming in and coaching a Premier League side?
Well, I think it was. It didn't go well.
Obviously.
but that's not particularly. That's not due. I would say it was a bit unfair to blame it on a guy like Bob Bradley. Swansea were absolutely desperate at the time. You didn't have the transfer window.
Doesn't matter. I mean, the Swansea team's pretty much the same. It's the same. It's the same 11.
But you've got to. You can't ask. If anybody came in at some point to coach that Swansea team, you have to say, what? How does it look? What are the results? I mean, they were terrible, mate. They were absolutely terrible. One of the worst sides we've seen in the Premier League. The thing with Bob Bradley is, it wasn't easy for him. It was people were laughing and joking. There's a lot of Americanisms in what he was saying in interviews and things, which of course people latch onto. We're very precious about our football here in Britain, so that really didn't help him. When he talks about making plays and he's got things on his radar, and there was obviously a touch of xenophobia to it, but it was like played off, and it was they were just cheap jokes in the end. But
when he did list his reasons for being fired, I think he did blame Brexit as one of them.
Yeah. But of course, I think it's like anything in life, isn't it? Unfortunately for Bob Bradley, if you're losing games, those jibes stick, and if you lose 4 or 5 games in the bounce, suddenly those jibes become what you're defined for, and everyone's just starting to sort of giggle and laugh, and you're not taken seriously pretty soon after losing 4 or 5 games, and then after that you can't really claw it back because the game's absolutely cruel like that, isn't it? It's the best managers in the world don't come back from 4 or 5 defeats on the bounce, and it don't look any better. So poor old Bob, it was bleak.
Well, I know there's a lack of respect for American players and coaches from around the world, but in terms of the last 2 World Cups and what the USA have accomplished and the kind of players they've brought through in world football, Is that growing over there, or is it America still the laughing stock of
No, I don't know.
football?
I don't think that's true at all. I don't think they've ever been the laughing stock. I think it's like anything, isn't it? I don't think the football world much cares where players come from. If you produce a fabulous footballer, you know, the kids buy the shirts, the fans get behind him, you know, the name's on the billboard. I don't think it matters at all. At all. I wouldn't ever go down that route.
Well,
let's be honest.
yeah.
In the Premier League now, I mean, look, Hull have got 19 different nationalities in their squad. You know, from some of the darkest corners of the earth. I don't think anybody much cares, really.
So who do you think has been the best American product to grace the Premier League?
Landon Donovan all day long.
Who do you think?
We need to have an applause button. Applause button.
Well, I don't know. Actually, you know, well, we've had a couple at Everton. I mean, we had Big Tim, didn't we? You know,
Tim Howard.
Remember
many years, and he was wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful for us. But so I think, you know, if you're looking for the servant of the club,
I think if he had stayed with Everton, I think if Donovan stayed at Everton for those, like when he went on that loan back, what is that? 2009, 2010.
2010
If he
before
had
the
stayed
World
for
Cup.
like a year, I think it would have been. He really would have, you know, put himself, made a statement as the best American ever in Europe.
without a doubt, he had a really good spell with us. There's no doubt about it. You know, any Evertonian will say exactly the same. He held his own.
Yeah.
He was really good.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate that, I mean, the politics behind why Donovan couldn't stay and why the move to a permanent European club never happened was just kind of BS on the MLS's part, but don't want to get into that. But, yeah, Donovan was great. What about
What do you mean was? What do you mean was? He's still playing. Did you know this, Paul? Donovan came out of retirement last year.
Re-signed. I did see that.
He re-signed for the Galaxy, and he's looking for a club currently, right? He hasn't signed with anyone right now, but it kind of looks like
How
the
old
end. Yeah, Mike.
He did say in the, he was commenting on the Fox game when Jamaica, they were joking about the team, and Don was like, "Yeah, I want to be out there. I want to be out there." He said that like twice. I don't know if you.
How old is he?
He's like,
how old is he?
He's younger than us.
What?
He's
34.
34,
33?
yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
He's got some
really.
So I just want
to.
I want to do a kind of a fun thing with you here, Paul, right now. So I don't know how familiar you are with the MLS. I don't know if it's on BT Sport or Sky Sports, but it's growing rapidly, and there's new teams every year coming into the league. There's no promotion relegation. It's strictly you pay to be in the MLS. That's what it comes down to. So do you watch the MLS over there? Is it on TV?
I don't know if it is.
It's on. I know it's on Sky, but the time would probably be wicked late at night. Because I see, like, watching the MLS games on the advertising boards, it says on Sky Sports, and I've seen Premier League games saying Sky Sports, the home of MLS. So,
okay.
But yeah, it's probably late at night because the games sometimes here, 9 o'clock kickoff on the West Coast, and we're on the East Coast, so it'd be real late in England.
Okay.
But
do you know who won the MLS Cup last year, Paul?
No.
Have a guess.
I'm not even going to hazard a guess. I don't know. No. Portland Timbers.
They won it 2 years ago.
2 years ago. That was 2 years ago. Not bad. Not bad.
It was a Clint Dempsey's team, Seattle Sounders.
So he's still playing?
Yeah, he's still playing.
He's still playing. He was a good player. He's a good player.
He's coming back from a severe injury, brain trauma injury right now. So he's
heart.
His heart. His heart. A regular heartbeat. He missed the playoffs, the end of the season playoffs in the final. But
Sam always gets his vital organs mixed up.
Well, I'm gonna list you 10 people right now, and you got to tell me if they're MLS players or non-MLS players.
Oh my god!
All right.
I can do that in the Premier League. Go on.
Right, these are all right. Darlington Nagby, Nagby, MLS.
Good God! Oh, Darlington Nagby. He's a lovely footballer. Darlington. He's in MLS.
He is. He plays for the Portland Timbers. He showed great signs for the US in their latest January camp. One of the strongest players. We talked about it. All right, next one. Chuck Wagon. Chuck Wagon.
That's a cereal, isn't it? That's a breakfast cereal. Isn't it?
No, it's just
he's not. He's not.
Charles Wagon.
He's not. Charles Wagon. Oh, actually, sounds a bit more official now. Charlie Wagon. Yes, he is.
No, he is not. He is. That's a complete fake name. All right. Third, Patrick Doody. Patrick Doody.
Patrick Doody. That's like your American slang for like shit, isn't it? Dog shit. Isn't it? So yeah, that's an unfortunate name. He'd have changed that. He doesn't.
But it's spelled D-O-O-D-Y, not D-U-T-Y. Doody. Doody.
He's a footballer.
He is. He plays for Chicago Fire.
Yeah. I've heard of it.
Right. Ha ha. Clinton Dix.
That's no. Come on, I don't think you're creative enough to have made it up either.
Thanks.
No way. I'm not having that.
He's a safety for the Green Bay Packers. He's an NFL player.
Get in there.
There you go. All right. Dilly Duca.
No.
Dilly
Duca. It's just like two words, putting. Yes. Yeah,
he plays for the Connors crew. I'll go through the other ones real quickly. John David Booty. John David Booty.
No.
He plays for the Houston Texans. He is not. Frederick Brilliant.
No.
No, he plays for NYCFC. There you go. You got 4 out of 8. Well done. Yeah, they're the Man City team. They're the expansion team. So,
here's a question for you. It's just a question for you guys. How's Pirlo?
He's Paul.
Oh my goodness.
So mad.
Really?
Well,
really?
To be fair, we saw him in the Eastern Conference semifinal. Me, Mike, and Sam went down for the match, and he was absolutely dreadful. But for the rest of the season,
was great.
He had good moments, but he was horrendous.
One of the worst athletes I've ever seen live. I'm not even exaggerating.
He barely moves.
He did not move out of the centre, and he's still there. Like, Frank Lampard put his hand up and said, time for me to go.
Enough.
I'm a DP player, time to go. Pirlo is like doing these short videos, commercial. He's like laughing. He's like, hey, I Andres Pirlo. I play for NYCFC. I'm, stealing all the money. It's shocking. He has to go. We've talked about the strain of DP players. If they're not impacting the game, there's no need for them there. Gerrard and Lampard. Lampard, to be honest, was trying. He did actually try, but they're playing. They're playing
it took him a full season. He didn't play for the whole first season he was there. Half the season. Second season he was great, but he didn't do anything. He did nothing for the half the season. He wasn't even trying to play. He was like milking an injury.
Yeah, Paul. They're playing at a baseball stadium. That's their stadium. We were on the sidelines. We were 50 yards from the throwing line because we're in center field. It was just, and how narrow the pitch is. I mean, they can throw all these excuses to Pirlo or Lampard, but at the end of the day, you're meant to be a world-class player who's meant to bring, growth to the MLS. And when you don't, I think they should just give these players like a 12-month window and then evaluate them at the end of the season, because it's such a strain when you have those type of players on, because you're only allowed 3 DP players, 3, right? DP players per team?
Yeah, do you want to explain to Paul what that means if he doesn't?
You can do it.
Paul, do you know what a designated player is in MLS and how it works?
No.
No, okay. So basically the MLS has created a lot. It's the most complicated sports league in the world as far as player finances go, and it's done to keep the teams level and to keep the league surviving and to keep the clubs from getting, too overstrained as far as finances go. So you are allowed 3 designated players, and the MLS there's a salary cap like every other American sport where you can only spend so much money on overall salary. And the 3 designated players are players that are outside of the salary cap, so you can spend as much money as you want on them and pay them as much as you want. So usually the best players get these DP contracts because you can pay them big money to be at your club and they don't affect your salary cap. So that's why guys like Lampard, Pirlo, Gerrard have been DP players, so they can make the big money without affecting the rest of the team.
Right.
It's basically communism in a free market. I don't know. It's a weird setup.
Yes, you're only for socialism in America.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the professional sports leagues are like that. It's because it's like the league itself is the business or is the company. It's kind of odd because you kind of look at aren't they competing against each other, the teams? And it's like nah, the league is the actual product.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, got you.
Okay, so with the DP players right now, and what the MLS have tried to do, Paul, in the last few years is to try and bring in younger players like Giovanni Dos Santos has come in, Robbie Keane came in, pretty good age, like 29 and 30. You know, people say Robbie Keane was the best designated player the MLS have ever had. So there's rumors right now about Javier Hernandez coming over, and everyone's going crazy about it because right now he plays for Leverkusen in the Bundesliga. With a huge, Mexican population over here, and with his age, they're saying it could be the biggest signing of all time, like market-wise, even bigger than David Beckham. And
well, I mean, the market's enormous, isn't it?
Huge. Have you heard about this, guys? The possibility.
Yeah. Yep. And I think from what I've heard that multiple MLS executives are pretty much saying it's a guarantee, and it's something that the league is really pushing for this summer. But for me personally, I was kind of thinking that he was going to wait and sign for, this was a theory I had, he would wait and sign for LAFC next year as their first big marquee signing as a brand new club. But yeah, I mean, it would be huge. Like you said, big Hispanic population over here, and a player that has been great. Well, he was great last year. He's kind of struggled this year in the Bundesliga, but he's 28 right now. But it would be big, man. He's huge. He's like so marketable. He's
so this is a question to all of you, I guess, and it's like this kind of stems to the Paul Pogba transfer, and I'm not going to knock Chicharito that much. Throughout his career, he's been pretty consistent. But they're saying like the total package is like 50 million in terms of the transfer fee, the longevity of his contract, how much he needs to get paid. Is it really down to football anymore, or is every club looking at it from a market point of view? Because Man United's revenue the first 2 quarters have been astronomical. Like, they're creating more revenue than any other club in the world. I've heard reports that they've paid back 50 million of Pogba's transfer fee already. They've also covered like 3 years of his wages already. That stems not only from Pogba, but from Ibrahimovic as well. It's like, do club owners really give a shit about titles anymore and trophies? Because I think they really don't. They just care about how much money they can make. Because at the end of the day, it's a business. And it never was like that 40 years ago. And,
yeah, absolutely.
And that's one reason why fans are losing touch on their clubs. This is why you're angry at Arsenal week in, week out. And, I'm a Man United fan, and we haven't really spoke about them on this podcast. But since Ferguson left, I've, lost kind of contact with my club. It's like I don't recognize my team. It's a different team every fucking year. It's not the team that I saw in the 90s. It's not the team I saw in the early 2000s. And when's this going to stop? When's it just going to spiral out of control and everyone's just going to go, fuck it, we need to change?
It's not.
No.
I mean, there's legitimate talks right now of a European Super League that top clubs would get promoted into. Like, so now you have Champions League, but an actual league now with 20 teams, and if you get relegated, you go back to your country. This is like a legitimate thing that UEFA is considering. And now the Champions League more or less becomes the Europa League, and then the Europa League will still exist. And it's just like the money drives everything, and it's gonna ruin the game. It's inevitable.
Well, it's Chicharito's last 3 seasons at Real Madrid, 2014 to 15, played 33, scored 9. Leverkusen season 15 to 16 played 40, scored 26. That's not bad. But this season played 27, scored 8. This guy's worth 50 million. It's not about footballing reasons. It's for markability, right? That's what it comes down to. And yeah, I mean, it looks like LA, the new LA team, are gonna jump all over that because there's a huge Hispanic population there. And it'd be great for the league, and the MLS needs growth like that. We don't need the Gerrards, the Lampards, and the Pirlos. That whole concept just needs to end.
Yeah. Well, it is. I mean, I know like Atlanta United right now, I think all 3 of their designated players are under 23 years old, and that's a new club. So they're starting off with younger South American talent from bigger South American clubs. That's the way they...
Connor, Kenwyn Jones is a DP player. Kenwyn Jones.
He's not a DP, dude.
He's not?
There's no way he's a DP. He's not. He's just on the roster. He's not a DP, though. He can't be.
Why not?
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, though, I mean, with regards to the MLS, I mean, I've got some sympathy for it, really, because, how else are you supposed to grow the league? It's almost impossible. How are you supposed to suddenly create a league out of the ground, right? In a country that you'll probably already start 4 or 5 rungs down on, the popularity of the sport anyway, when there's enormous sort of sporting clubs in all kinds of different fields, well supported right across the country, and you've got to suddenly put together a
sport. Exactly.
Yeah, you've got to. Go on, Mike.
No, I'm sorry. I was every other sport here started from the ground up. Baseball, Abner Doubleday in 1870 started playing, whatever. And then bit by bit, they built their league, and the people came to watch the league. Football, the same thing. Basketball, Dr. James Naismith, guys, shooting into peach baskets. And the league got popular, and the sport got popular, and then came all the money and everything. But you're right, the MLS just tried to jump all that, and just sort of have a league like as popular. It's
it's reminiscent of what China are doing right now, but it's more controlled. Yeah, it really is.
But I mean, it's not really controlled, though, is it? It's not. There's no control whatsoever. You have to make some serious inroads. The problem with the MLS is that it's already competing with pretty serious football leagues, soccer leagues right across Europe. I mean, the sort of the competition is already pretty enormous. Do you know what I mean? It's like the Chinese now. Chinese will just buy it up and see how it goes. That's all they'll do. Let's be honest. No one's heard of anything you can win in China. What's the Chinese Cup? What's the Chinese league called? That's fine. You can have Oscar playing on 500k a week. You can have him jogging around any type of ploughed field you like. But nobody cares, do they? No one cares.
Well, it's just like the Europeans just don't give a shit about the MLS, so it's hard to.
It's not just that, but that's it. So it's got to grow within. You've got to be sensible, and you've got to grow it within the bounds of your country first, because you can't really, with a serious face, say, "Come and watch the MLS. It's brilliant." Well, actually, we've got countless leagues right across Europe that are obviously much better. The differences like American football and basketball. You've got the best leagues in the world. Developed into the best leagues in the world. There's very little competition. They're your national sports, so the competition's minimal. But
and we're always it's world champions when we win. I know.
Well. Big fan. I mean, like, since I've lived here, I've seen the MLS. I've seen the MLS grow so quickly. Like, Paul, you should see You should see some of these games on the West Coast, and even people are turning up at Yankee Stadium. The Red Bulls at each club are getting their own stadium now, and the support. There's teams in like lower leagues in the US called the NASL and the USL, and I know there's a team in Cincinnati. They average 19,000 a game. Like, there's
great.
There's no team in League 1 or League 2 that average that. Not even close.
Completely brilliant. But that's if you're going to look at it honestly, that's really, really good progress. Really good progress, isn't it? There's no doubt about it.
And Connor, weren't we? What was the MLS ranking in attendance in the world? They ranked all the leagues in the world attendance.
Yeah, I think we were. I don't remember the exact number. We were in the top 10. I think it was even top 8 most attended, highest attended leagues in the world. Yeah. And I mean, it's you look at, like Sam said, some of the, especially the Pacific Northwest here in America, Portland, Seattle, Vancouver. Like Portland is legitimate. The stadium is right downtown. If you look at it, looks like an English stadium. It's right downtown. The support is as good as any support you'll find in across Europe. Honestly,
like, what do they do when they score a goal?
They cut a log.
Nice. Oh, the traditional goal-scoring celebration. Yeah, it's an old one.
But I mean, that's the Americanness of it, which
well, this is great.
I don't hate on it. It's great. Yeah,
it's great. The thing is, I've got some sympathy for the MLS trying to get guys like Chicharito in. Like, let's be honest, right at a very base level, what does everybody do to get big players in? They pay them as much money as they possibly can within their limits. That's all you did with Zlatan Ibrahimovic. That's all you did with Paul Pogba. It's never changed. That's what Everton will do. They'll look at a player that they really like, and they'll hemorrhage money to try and get him in. That's the game.
All right. Good points. I mean, I wanna finish up on the state of the England national team right now. We grew up through many tournaments, you and I, Paul. We've sat through many England games, tournaments. We've bitched. I don't even feel like it's a roller coaster of emotions because we've never reached a high. So it's kind of just been a low throughout our whole lives, right? And I've talked to you, 10, 12 years ago. I was like, Paul, do you think we'll ever see England in a final or even win it, come close? I mean, when we were really young, the 1990 World Cup was great. And one of the first tournaments I remember, 96 was great, the Euros. But since then, it's just been piss poor. It's, there's no other words to describe it.
Well, there's plenty of words. There's a dictionary full. It is absolutely abysmal, and this is, we are scraping the barrel of despair at the moment. I mean, that last World Cup, it couldn't have gone any worse. The Euros, it just couldn't have gone any worse than it did. And the World Cup before that, it couldn't have gone any worse than it did. Roy Hodgson is the worst England manager I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm astonished. I mean, we don't, like you say, we don't win much, mate, but we are a pretty capable ensemble of world-class professional footballers for most of the time, most of the way through that side, and to watch them play Iceland, it was. I mean, some of them were carpenters. I mean, the head coach was a part-time dentist. I mean, fucking hell! You've got nowhere to go after that. You might as well just burn the place down and say, we're not going to do this anymore.
So when I first came over here, it was like, okay, England have a great side. It was towards the end of, Beckham, Lampard, Gerrard, Terry, Ashley Cole. We had a great team 10 years ago. And we've mentioned that. That's the golden generation that didn't produce anything on the field. But players-wise, you take them out of the England team, they're some of the best players in the world. So when I moved over here first, it was the feedback from the American public was, England have a great team, why don't they do well? And now it's kind of like, I feel sorry for England. They're shit. They feel sorry for us now. And if
I didn't feel sorry for them. I hate them.
If England played America over 10 games, it'll probably be 5-5. I don't think England have that much of a better team than the American starting 11 right now.
They are absolutely pathetic. They are pathetic human beings. They are a joke, a running joke. It's like a comedy act. There's nothing serious left about the England team. They've got no guile. They've got no fight. They're robotic. They can't string a sentence together. There is nothing. There's no qualities in the England football team. And when you can't trust them to play football, it's the end. It's the end. It's dire, absolutely diabolical.
Yeah, I've personally, just growing up watching the Premier League, I've always I mean, I love the United States national team or any other team, but when it comes to other tournaments like Euros, I back England 100%, and I want them to win. And it is just crazy to me how all technical ability, all creativity, all cohesion that you expect these players to have just gets completely flushed down the toilet. And you really have to question if the players are even that talented, because I don't know. I obviously can't speak on the situation in England as well as, Paul and Sam can, but it's crazy to me that how mediocre these players look and how uninspired they look when I then watch the United States national team, where I would argue that the U.S. is the most exciting team in every tournament. Every World Cup, the last two, any fan from around the world would. How could you not enjoy watching the U.S.? Late goals, drama, upsets, and you just don't see that with England. They lose to Iceland, and it's. I thought they were gonna lose. I went into that game saying, I was watching it with my buddy. I'm like, yo, England is gonna lose this game, and I wasn't surprised when it happened, and that is sad. And what do you think needs to happen going forward? Me personally, as much as I slate Arsene Wenger, I don't think there's anyone that currently knows the English game better than him. And I think that him being the next manager, because there's no way Gareth Southgate is going to win anything with England. I think Wenger could potentially get some of that technical ability out of the players and get some cohesion in that team. And I think maybe the international stage might be a better situation for him currently. What do you think going forward needs to happen? Because it has to be better. Or maybe it doesn't have to be better, and it's just this is the reality and this is the current state of England. And
anyway, I just had to throw that in. But yeah, I mean, I honestly haven't gotten it. That's a very hard question. I don't know. Paul, take this one.
There's nothing you can do.
Systematic. I think it's systematic, top to bottom, with the FA, with the domestic leagues, and then to me personally, there's not enough English players in the English top flight. There's not, and Sam's shaking his head. I don't know if he's disagreeing or he's agreeing with me.
I disagree. I think
there's not enough English players. You get Spain and Italy. The majority of the team is Spanish and Italian.
The Premier League has kind of been the same. The number of foreigners in the Premier League has been the same over the last 15 years, and we still produce.
What has England done?
Nothing, but we produced world-class players 10, 15 years ago. We did. You're telling me Frank Lampard's not world-class?
I mean, he is world-class, but
what you're saying is, what you're saying. We're not producing them. They're not. It's not. That was a golden generation. That has to be set aside. I mean, we aren't producing them on a regular basis. I mean, the England team at the moment is pretty desperate. Isn't it?
Paul, they're spoiled rotten. They're fucking spoiled rotten. You're telling me Marcus Rashford's cleaning someone else's boots? We talk. That whole connection within the club is lost, and they're giving everything. They're giving everything at such a young age, and that's why they're robots. That's why they can't talk. That's why they don't have a personality. They're all getting married at 19, 20. They're all
completely wild. Jack Wilshere smoking cigarettes in the pool.
Yeah,
getting hammered.
There's probably some truth to that, but I mean, everybody else seems to get on okay. I doubt Mesut Ozil was cleaning boots either, and I doubt Schweinsteiger was cleaning boots or Philip Lahm. They haven't done too badly. I mean, it's a pretty loose argument, I think, that they're just a bit spoiled because they could, like Connor says. I mean, these guys, they're players that have won everything there is to win in the game. You put on an England shirt, and it's like The Walking Dead. It's just I feel a bit sick watching it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I'll tell you what the bad part about it was. It was the Allardyce thing. Allardyce would have been an interesting acquisition because you know what? We've probably tried almost every kind of manager that the world can offer us. We've had the disciplinarian in Fabio Capello. That was absolutely woeful. We've had everybody's pal in Roy Hodgson. Fairly softly. We've tried Sven-Goran Eriksson, who had won everything there was to win in the domestic game. We tried that. So Allardyce was something different. It was about the last throw of the dice, really. It was, though, wasn't it? We've tried everything else. Now we've ended up with Gareth Southgate.
Well, no, we've lost all
expectation.
Yeah, we've lost all expectation now. It's like, what do you really expect from the England team at the next World Cup?
Well, here lies the problem. You know, we'll turn up at the next World Cup, mate, and we'll probably have a pretty formidable first 11, like we always do. You know.
But really, you think it's going to be formidable first 11?
Mate, every competition you've ever watched, last 10, 15 years, you look at the Everton, you look at the England side, and you think to yourself, yeah, some handy footballers in there.
Oh, I don't know.
They're all playing Champions League football. They're all playing at the very, very top level in one of the best leagues in the world. Now, how many other countries can honestly say that? A handful of countries can say that. We can say it every single time, and then we have to watch them suck the devil's cock every single fucking tournament. Every single tournament. And, you know, come on. I mean, you just can't take it seriously anymore.
Mm-hmm. But it's not like England have been world beaters previous. It's not like they've kind of slumped to the bottom instantly. They were shit in the 70s. They were kind of not great in the 80s. Early 90s, we were underdogs in the World Cup 1990, and we managed to get to the semi-final. I mean, we won the World Cup in 66 at home. But, like, in our lifetime and 10 years prior, I mean, how many... We didn't qualify for, I think, 4 out of the 8... I think it was like 3 out of the 6 tournaments in the 70s. Didn't qualify for those tournaments.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, it's pretty much next to impossible right now not to qualify for these tournaments. You know, with the World Cup expanding, the Euros, every team qualifies for the Euros now. But
that's a bit...
It's not like England were at the top and they've just crashed down. They've never really been up there.
Yeah, but I don't really buy into that, though, because that's just talking about the past, and there's nothing really. You know, you can look back and say, oh, yeah, England have done this. We look right now at the present. Look at the facts. Top league in the world, top football players. You know, you look at the team that Sven-Goran Eriksson picked. You know, what was it like? David James, Terry Campbell, Ashley Cole, Gary Neville, Scholes, Lampard, Gerrard, Beckham, Owen, and Rooney. Now, my God, you know
that's. I think that's the problem right there. That team was so stacked. That was 06, right?
yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
It was right, and so I think you just got so pumped for that golden generation. Like, this is it, and then they disappointed. You're just like, fuck all this shit.
We were.
It's just crazy. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, you can't. It happens, and it happens every single year. You know, you look at it and go, he's the best player in his club side. He's the best player in his club side. He's the best player in his club side. And then as soon as you bring it all together and you tie it together, it sinks like a rock.
Yeah.
Like, weird.
Yeah. Well,
it is weird because they're all most of them are half my favorite players to play with on FIFA, but I don't get they're rated high. I don't get why they do so bad when they go to these competitions.
Yeah, all the qualities that they sort of have at their club game and in their own. Most of them were captains as well. You know, these guys are serious winners, serious footballers. You know. And we produce them again and again. There'll be 5 or 6 of those type of guys in the next squad, and they visibly shrink in an England shirt.
Right,
visibly shrink.
Connor, fast forward 2026. Who's going to do better, USA or England at that World Cup?
I mean, I'm extremely biased, but I look at some of the talent coming up in the U.S. youth teams, and it is the best it's ever been, and it'll continue to get better. I mean, there's so many talented players in whether it's under 17, under 15, under 21. It's stacked right now. We got guys at top clubs throughout Europe. So personally, I think U.S., but I mean, obviously England has a better chance of producing top players.
Yeah, I mean, I hear time and time again that England under 17s there's some of the best talents there. But we talked about Ross Barkley earlier. It's like it's all about that development as a player between those ages. We saw the USA play the Nike tournament down in Florida. Paul, you should have seen this team, the USA team, absolutely dominating against Brazil under 17s. They beat who did they beat? The first game was like Portugal.
They beat Portugal 7-0. They beat Turkey like 3-1, and they beat
Brazil 3-0
in the final. And yeah, and some of those guys are like legit, dude. Like the one, what's his freaking name?
The
man?
guy,
Carlton?
The striker. He's with Atlanta United right now, and they're gonna loan him out. Andrew Carlton. They're gonna loan him out to a USL club, and he's probably gonna be rip up the USL. He's phenomenal. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of Andrew Carlton, dude. There's one other kid, one of the wingers that was dope, but I don't know, man. I think the future
Paul, dope means sick, like good.
Oh, I see. Got you.
No, I mean, I'm personally really, really excited, and I just hope that all these young players that we have coming up can be on the team at the same time. And like, I think about Belgium and the current Euro and World Cup. Like, they have so many good players at such a young age. If they can get all of them hitting their peak at the same time at a certain tournament, they can go on to win that tournament. And I think the U.S. maybe not win the tournament, but just the future is so bright. And I don't know. I'm not as familiar with some of the younger English players. I know some of the young guys, but
I know. Well, I think it's an expectation game. Like, Connor, you will be so pumped if the USA just gets past. If they get out of the group and get past that next game, we'll just be elated. But I don't know if you guys, Sam and Paul, what would make? I mean, at this point, your expectations will be so low that just getting out of the group of the next World Cup would be like kind of a success.
It's just getting lower in every tournament. Paul and I I'll call him up and we'll pretty much cry over the phone together. Every tournament, I don't know what to expect, but it's in our blood, and we have to love and care about England. It's so involuntary, and it's kind of, you want to shake it off you want to shake it out of you, but you just can't. It's like, gotta support this fucking team of deadbeats. Just have to,
It's crazy to me that, like, just comparing the U.S. and England, I know that each group is different as far as group stages, but this last World Cup, 2014, U.S. is in the so-called group of death with apparently weaker squad than England, and we get out over Portugal, who goes on to win the Euros 2 years later, and then England can't get out the group stage.
No.
It's crazy. It really is that the U.S.
I wouldn't bet you. I wouldn't put £5 on England doing better than the USA in the next World Cup. Absolutely not. I don't think it'll be the case. England aren't getting any better. We're getting worse, gradually worse. And our big answer to one of the most miserable tournaments I've ever witnessed was to bring in Sam Allardyce, who got quickly sacked, and then look to a man called Gareth Southgate, who is what is he? He's a mannequin in a wig. He's a
muppet, man. He's just straight up like
how underwhelming do you want it to be? Honestly, but
we'll see.
We'll
see.
It's a bad thing in England camp as well. I think there's a lot of negativity now. I think it's fed down from the old pros. I think a lot of the kids are sort of thinking, Christ, you look at the media reaction, look at the reaction you get from fans. I wouldn't be surprised if some kids out there that honestly think, I'd just rather duck some of these games. I wouldn't be surprised, because it can prove pretty merciless. I mean, coming back from that last Euros, mate, oh, good God.
What was that like in England? What were the scenes in England after the Euros?
Well, I mean, there is gallows humour now, of the fact that it's gone so terribly over so many years. But and there's some in the camp of, can't say I'm surprised. We go up against someone as formidable as a part-time dentist. We are only England football team. We shouldn't expect to win these games anymore. And then the other camp is like Sam says, it's in your blood, and you're absolutely fucking furious. Furious. And it was fury last time. It wasn't disappointment. Disappointment days are gone. You're just furious, because we're falling at the first hurdles. Against semi-professionals. Come on. New lows.
Paul, I was so embarrassed. I can compare it taking my wife out on a night out, and she just gets blackout drunk and starts puking everywhere and just stumbling over. So that's what it was like. I was so fucking embarrassed to be English. Embarrassed.
Totally. It's like walking around all day with your cock out, isn't it? Getting home and looking in the mirror and going, "Oh my God, I can't."
So wait.
It.
If you see some guys like clap, do you guys get flashbacks? You see like guys clapping over the tops of their heads? It's like, that day.
Oh, dear.
All right. Okay, well, we're actually ran out of time, but I know Connor wants to say one more thing.
Well, real quick, I know we're wrapping up, but Champions League is back this week. I'm not going to preview the games, just read all the fixtures. Benfica hosting Dortmund, PSG hosting Barcelona on Tuesday. On Wednesday, Bayern playing Arsenal.
That should be a good one for Bayern.
Quick 4-0 loss.
Annual meeting.
Yeah, that'd be great. And then Real Madrid and Napoli on Wednesday. So I'm sure next episode we'll have some Champions League roundup talk and talk about the state of the competition. But I'm personally excited for the most boring competition and predictable competition in the world to be back. So great.
Getting that way, isn't it? Yeah, getting that way.
But yeah, really appreciate you joining us, Paul. I'll see you.
Well, thanks, guys.
When am I going to see you? In April, right? April.
Yeah, that's right. My stag do. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, bachelor party, guys. By the way.
Bachelor party.
Wait, it's your bachelor party?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks, mate.
Uncle Paul's getting married finally. My ex-wife's getting married in April. So she's actually got when I come out to see you, Paul, she's going to Disney to get married. So that's the same.
What? Oh, right. What in France? Paris?
No, in Florida.
Oh, down in Florida.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll see you
Paul,
April 20-something. I'm flying out to Portugal for your stag do.
Something like that.
And then your wedding's this summer. I mean, we've been talking. Connor and I have been talking a lot, trying to get out to England next year for a couple of Premier League games.
I'm thinking Christmas time. Thinking after Christmas, that congested week, hit as many matches as we can.
Do it. Yeah, do it.
Actually, as we've been recording, Bone, my friend from London, he messaged me back. I messaged him a few weeks ago. I know he's really busy with his new kid, so.
Has he got a kid? Fantastic.
Yep, he's got a kid. But yeah, we're looking to come over next year, get some games. But I'll see you in April. I'll see you this summer for your wedding. Looking forward to it all. Appreciate you joining us.
No, thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Paul. It was great.
Cool.
The big stuff.